Hi everyone, my name is Matt and I thank you for joining me in today's video. We are going to model this beautiful and realistic coffee mug using Blender, and I will show you the simple steps you take to achieve this, including some tips that will forever help you as you use Blender. So whether you have used Blender before or you just want to sharpen your Blender skills, this project is just perfect for you. Now, we first create a cylinder, then use this paint tool to create the handle by the right, and then add some more details to make it captivating. So please hit the like button and subscribe to this channel to stay updated with more videos like this. Now let's delete this stuff here and add a cylinder by hitting Shift A and go to cylinder. We can zoom this to see it properly. Here we have our vertices set to 32 and radius 0.05. But we can reduce these vertices to about 20. So hit 7 on the numpad to go to the top of the cylinder. Okay, let's set this to 22 because we're going to spin the handle from this end or this end, and then set this radius to 0.44, right? Great. Now this is our cylinder, right? So we can click anywhere on the screen to have the panel disappear. But in case we want it back, what do? That is where the hotkey F9 comes in. So when you click F9, you can see this, and you can also adjust your settings here. I'm okay with the depth, but here we'll have to select nothing so that we leave our cylinder open and empty as it is. Alright, now that the cylinder is open, the next thing to do is to start working on it to reshape it. And the first step to do that is to go to edit mode. You can easily come to this section and select the edit mode from this drop down, or you can just hit tab on your keyboard to go to the edit mode. Here you have 3 tabs here. This is for the vertices, this is for edges, and this is for the face. So you can click on them to switch from one to another, or you can easily use 1, 2, or 3 from your keyboard, right? Now if you click on each of these edges, it will just select it, but now we want to select all the edges at the bottom, so we can hold the Alt key and click on any of them to select all of them. And the next thing is to extrude these edges, right? You just have to click A on the keyboard. So you can see that we are already extruding this, and we can extrude to any direction of our choice, but we don't want this to go to any direction, so we want it to retain its position by default. So we just right click to have it there. Okay, now let's scale these edges down. So we have to move this mouse away from the cylinder and then hit S and scale down. Now if you want to apply the exact same scale amount I'm using, just check out the left top corner of the screen to see the adjustment. I think this is okay for me. Now we'll hit 7 on the numpad to come to the top of the cylinder. Now to close this gap, we'll have to click on face and use grid fill to do that. And this is what our cylinder looks like. Now the next thing to do is to make this bottom curvy a little bit. So to do that, we have to select all the edges at the bottom and then use the bevel tool, right? So move this mouse away a little bit, then Ctrl B and shift the mouse a little bit. So now we can use the scroll up and down to add more or reduce, but this tool is just perfect. Let's take it down a little bit. This is just perfect. All right, now let's add loop cuts so that we can maneuver the handle, right? Okay, so to do that, we have to hit Ctrl R and use the scroll wheel to add more or reduce, right? Up and down. And we'll have to add like 9 loop cuts here. You can see the number of loop cuts I'm adding at the bottom left of the screen. Now after we have confirmed the number by left clicking, we can move this to a different position from where it is. But if we want it to retain the initial position, we just right click and then have it there. Now that we have our loop cut, the next thing to do is to add a modifier to our cylinder. To do that, we have to go to object mode by hitting the tab and then click on add modifier and solidify. This Solidify will have to adjust some things here because the thickness is more than we need. So let's do 0.05 here. So we have to adjust this. Let's do 0.03. I think this is just perfect. Now, after adding the Solidify modifier, it's time to apply it. And that is why we came to this object mode. So you can easily click on this drop down arrow and then hit apply. To hit 7 to go to the top of the cylinder, and then switch back to edit mode. Then go click 3 and select this face here. So when we do this, you can reference this and see that this is the right side of the mug, right? Now let's zoom this a little bit. Then the next thing to do is to select these two faces. Make sure your stuff is on the face, and also select this because we want to spin the handle out from here and to here. But first of all, we have to insert these faces, and to do that we just click I and then move the mouse a little bit closer to the cylinder. You see that the mouse is a bit away from the cylinder, and then dragging it closer to the cylinder, and then we have this. The next thing to do is to scale these two faces down, and to do that we hit S and scale it down. I think there is a problem here, it's not going in the individual direction. So to fix that, we just have to come here and select individual origins. Now when we scale again and to the Z direction, we can get what we want. So now we have something that looks like this, and we left click to confirm the operation. Okay, now to spin this from here to here, we'll have to select these two faces and go to spin to use the spin tool. Look what happens there. If I want to spin from here to here, you see what is happening? It's spinning according to the direction I set it, and now I want it to spin in the Y direction, right? Alright, but before we start, we have to place this cursor at the middle of the two handle outlets, and to do that we can always come here to grab it and move it to where we want it to be. Another way to do that is just go to where you want. For example, when we click on 3 to go to the side, you can zoom it properly and then hold shift and right click at that place to have it there. Now when we go back to spin, you can move this to this direction and then spin this from here to here. It is important to leave a little space from there. I will show you why in a bit. Now that we've done this, the next thing to do is to select these 4 faces. So you can click on shift and click on these faces, and these 2 are already selected. If they're not, you can also select them by holding your shift. Now we have to hit X and delete the faces, and this is what we have: an open cylinder and an open handle. Okay, now to join this together, we have to switch to the edges by hitting 2 and then hold the Alt and click this edge to select all of them. And to select the 2 at the same time, we have to select this and also select that. So you can just hit shift and also Alt to select these edges. So we now have these 2 selected, right? Great. Now the next thing to do is to come to edge and then click on the bridge edge loops. Alright, so this is what we have. So these extra edges here doesn't mean anything, so we can just select all of them, and instead of deleting, because when we delete these edges it should just mess this up, so instead of deleting we just dissolve the edges so that they just disappear. Great. Now this is what we have. When we go to object mode, we see that this is already taking the shape of our mug. Now the next thing to do is to add another modifier, and this time we're going to add a subdivision surface modifier. Great. Let's zoom this a little bit, and then here from the settings we can set this to 2, 3, 4, no, 3 is just okay, can also set render to 3. And then if you zoom up, you'll see that this is somehow not smooth. So to correct that, you can just right click and click on shed smooth. Now we have this. Alright, this is already a perfect mug, but if you want to add more details to it, let's go back to the edit mode. This time let's work on this top of the bottom by adding a loop cut here and shaping it a little bit to the upside, and then coming down to this bottom. We can add a loop cut here and take it down to this end. So we can just select these faces one after the other, or just hit C to add more faces by scrolling up or down. And then we have this, so left click, right click to confirm that, and then slightly go to this side of the mug and hit G to adjust it in the Z direction. So just a little bit from here and here. This is great. So when we go back to the object mode, we see how the mug is already looking. So let's go back to the edit mode and select these edges here, and then hit G twice to adjust it a little. Do the same here and here. Hit G twice to adjust it a little, and then so hit 1 to select, and then select this vertex and this vertex, and then the same thing, we hit G twice and set this to 1, and then do the same thing here, hit G twice and adjust it to 1. Right, so let's go back and see what we have so far. See that this cup is now popping up from there and connecting from here, and at the bottom we see that we have this curvy stuff here, and this is also looking great. Now in order to modify this more, you can come to this Matcap here and select any option from this. Let's go back from there. You have a lot of options here you can select, but let's select this one for the shiny coffee mug. You guys, just look at this. Look at this. This is incredibly fine. So now that we have modded this 3D mug, I think the next thing is to render it. So in order to do that, you just have to uncheck some stuff here, maybe the floor and this one x-axis, even the 3D cursor. This one we don't need it for now. So you can then position it well, go to view and viewport render. So yeah, we'll have it. Alright, thank you for following this video, and I hope you get this exact result and you're happy with that. So please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe to this channel. My name is Matt, and until the next one, keep earning more income. Thank you.